Look at this douche.
This is crazy. This is crazy. You guys pay attention to this one.
Yes, please.
This happened in America, okay? British and Chinese nationals indicted for alleged plot to silence U.S. dissident and smuggle U.S. military technology to China. Just leave it there. I'll leave it there.
All right, you're going to read a bit?
Yeah, so this guy...
Pay attention.
This is super important. A British father accused of spying for the Chinese Communist Party plotted to kidnap and kneecap a critic of Xi Jinping, okay? John Miller, this guy, a businessman who owns a 1.5 million pound home in Tunbridge Wells, so in the UK, but he's a permanent resident of the US.
Right.
That is flanked by 2 Chinese terracotta warriors, by the way, in his home, is alleged to have tried to smuggle missiles and drones into China.
From America.
The 63-year-old, whose wife is a church warden in Kent, was described as funny and nice. Okay? Funny and nice. Is how this man is described, right?
Sure.
However, he was attempting to traffic sensitive American military technology, missiles, air defense, radar, and drones into China, right? He referred to Xi Jinping as the boss in intercepted phone calls.
Right.
Court documents in the U.S. state that Mr. Miller wanted to have a Los Angeles artist, so a Chinese dissident, right, in L.A., who was a critic of Mr. Xi Jinping, effed up. He allegedly said his Chinese handlers were bang up for launching an attack on him with bullets instead of baseball bats.
Right.
Okay? In April, Mr. Miller was arrested with Cui Guanghai, a 43-year-old Chinese national, on the orders of the FBI in Serbia. So they had run away to Serbia.
Yeah, they were in Serbia when they got arrested,
where he is awaiting extradition to the U.S. They're going to send him back, right? The pair were charged after approaching 2 individuals, unbeknown to them, who were actually working for the FBI. Mr. Miller is a permanent resident of the U.S., was born in the UK. He has held roles in at least 5 UK companies, including a firm that appeared to facilitate English language teaching jobs in China.
TEFL.
But is now dissolved. This guy is one of those English teachers in China that he's a loser. He's an absolute douche loser, right? Gets tantalized by handlers.
What if he rides a bicycle? He kind of looks like he would.
Yeah, he does. Gets tantalized by Chinese handlers.
Yes.
MSS or whatever branch of the government.
Gets given a big head. He gets given a spotlight.
They're like, we love you. You're great, right? Got a mission for you. Go to L.A., right?
Yeah.
And shoot artists in the
kneecaps. Or arrange. Or it's usually the other way around. These guys are like, oh, you got a problem with this guy. I can sort it. I got connections.
Yes.
You know, he wants to score points with the CCP. I've met a lot of guys like this, so it's so easy to understand their motives and understand who they are. A lot of the guys who are very critical of us, that spend their day in and day out making videos trying to discredit us and so on, they're like this guy.
Yes.
It's the same kind of thing. It's the propagandists that end up on Twitter putting out
the CCP propagandists often have characteristics like this guy, right?
Yeah.
According to the 27-page indictment, right, Mr. Miller told a confidential FBI source that the real payday is going to be putting the siding up on that guy. There's going to be extra cash to play with when that happens. The special agent said that siding meant an assault.
Yes.
And that there had been an earlier conversation where Mr. Miller had discussed possibly kidnapping the victim in the U.S.
Yes.
On behalf of the CCP.
Correct.
This British scumbag. They want it bang, bang, and gone, Mr. Miller is quoted as saying in a recorded phone call. No talking to, no nothing to, like a mugging or something. Take his effing watch. Take his phone. He then asked if he cares, so he's talking to the handlers or whatever, if he prefers bullets versus baseball bats, before replying, not necessarily, but I think you'll get paid more for bullets.
Yeah.
And the guys I spoke to said that's way effing easier. Apparently, they're not so much baseball bat or like an ice pick is the best way of doing it. Okay? On the knees and ankles. Doesn't necessarily have to be bullets. Have him effed up and have his picture taken. Effed up. But the guys I've spoken to, the easiest thing is just bam, 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 bang, and just walk away.
Sure.
But listen, it doesn't have to be that. Knees and ankles. So this is the Chinese Christmas wish list.
Okay.
Another phone call shows that Mr. Miller, this British
By the way, before you continue, the whole reason for this is the dissident artist made 2 statues. And we've maybe you've seen them, maybe not, but it's Xi Jinping and his wife, topless. So his wife is topless, he's topless, and they're kneeling down in like that very unflattering, as if they put on trial or something like that. And he was going to display them in public.
He did. He put him in New York.
He put him in the Times Square, actually, but this was before he was going to display them.
You're allowed to do this in America.
They tried to first buy the statues from this dissident, and he refused to sell them. And so then they went into this plan to try and get rid of him.
Yes.
Anyway.
Mr. Miller, another phone call appears to show that Mr. Miller had arranged a payment with a minimum of $100,000 for the source to carry out the assault.
Yeah.
100. So this guy's, he's a middleman.
Yes.
For the Chinese government to potentially kill someone on U.S. soil.
Yeah. Or kidnap
minimum
or kneecap them or whatever.
When questioned if there was a problem from the female handler Mr. Guanghai was reporting to, he replied, "Oh, no. Right? Mm-hmm. She's second in command, and her boss is banging up for it. There's another guy who needs to approve it, and they're all banging up for it. As long as it's reasonable, the numbers we talked about, I'm pretty sure it's 100%. The documents show that the Paris, remember, it's a Chinese handler and this British guy, also enlisted undercover agents to stop the victim from protesting against Mr. Xi's appearance at a summit, and installed tracking devices on the victim's car.
Yep.
And paid the undercover agents to slash their tires.
Yep.
They also devised a complex plan to destroy a set of statues, which we've talked about, right? Mm-hmm. In 2025, Mr. Miller paid the agents $36,500 to convince the victim to desist from showcasing the new statues at an upcoming protest.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. He also allegedly tried to purchase millions of pounds worth of military equipment on behalf of the Chinese military as part of their Christmas wish list.
Sure.
As quoting as saying, his buyers were interested in the Western stuff, including armor plates for tanks that the Yanks have. Mm-hmm. He reportedly tried to buy a 37,000-pound Stinger portable missile launcher, 2 military drones valued at 148,000 pounds, and a 668,000-pound AGM-88E anti-radiation missile system, and a 1.5 million-pound air defense radar system.
I see.
Mr. Miller also allegedly tried to procure a cryptographic device, which is used for secure communication of classified and sensitive information. At one point, the British guy, allegedly suggested that the device be smuggled from the U.S. to China by hiding it inside a food blender, or a motor starter, having it shipped via DHL, FedEx to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Several times in Mr. Miller's conversations, he is said to have mentioned a boss. At times, big boss is the one giving the orders. Mm-hmm. According to the FBI special agent who submitted the affidavit, Mr. Miller's use of the phrase boss refers to President Xi Jinping. Mm-hmm. It demonstrates Miller's awareness that he's acting at the direction and control of the Chinese government.
Correct.
Todd Blanche, this is the end. Todd Blanche, the U.S. Deputy Attorney General, said, "This is a blatant assault on both our national security and our democratic values. This Justice Department will not tolerate foreign repression on U.S. soil, nor will we allow hostile nations to infiltrate or exploit our defense systems. We will act decisively to expose and dismantle these threats wherever they emerge." If convicted, Mr. Miller could also face the maximum penalties of 5 years in prison for conspiracy, 5 years in prison for interstate stalking, and 10 years in prison for smuggling. And so that's
not enough.
This piece of shit.
He needs life.
This piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's life. It is life.
What, that's like 10, 15, 20 years? It's not a lot.
You know how old he is?
Doesn't matter.
He's 63. It's life.
Get out in 3 parole.
Yeah, right. Stop. You're not the law. Don't act like that. Yeah. We don't know what he's going to get.
Yeah.
We do know that this piece of shit scumbag we know people like him.
We do.
He's the type that got a big head.
He got too big for his boots.
Doing his English teaching.
Yeah.
Got converted by the Chinese government to be like, act on our behalf. He loves it. Loves the CCP's like basically mafia state type control.
Yes.
You get to feel like a cool bad boy criminal working on behalf of the country you support.
Yeah.
And you are trying to facilitate the potential murder of a dissident that just did some art that the CCP doesn't like. This is what the CCP is doing.
Oh, by the way, there's another part of this where they actually paid protesters, remember?
Yeah, yes.
And it's important because what they did was him and his handler paid some Taiwanese, some protesters to go to like a Taiwan independence thing or whatever, to hold up these things like "Don't divide us." I think it was when Tsai Ing-wen came or something.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff you see.
America first. Mm-hmm. Don't interfere with other countries. Like we should, all that kind of stuff. They actually paid people to go and hold up signs as protesters. It gives you an insight into the fact that these are not organic. When you see these protesters that go and hold up all these pro-CCP things. Anyway, fascinating read. You've got the link in the description.
Rot in jail.
Yes.
Rot.
Yes.
Just a quick thing. OpenAI takes down covert operations. Basically, China is using OpenAI to do a lot of bad stuff.
Yep.
But importantly, to connect it to us, they were using it to make YouTube comments and like all kinds of comments. So,
Yes.
I mean, all these bot comments you see, these pro-CCP accounts, they're actually using OpenAI to make them more believable and not full of Chinglish and stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that's a whole thing. You can read that in your own time. That's all there. But props to Google for taking that out.
Yeah, it's
that
very
was
good.
That was a big network. It was called like Sneer Review. That's what
Okay,
it's called,
comments
the
are
Sneer
posted across
Review.
TikToks, X, Reddit, Facebook, in English, Chinese, and Urdu.
Yep.
Subjects included the Trump administration's dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development.
Yeah, we saw tons.
Oh, the USAID?
Tons.
Dude.
Tons. Thousands. We saw thousands of comments
Yeah.
talking about USAID and how like
Yeah.
it's so good that it was dismantled. and
Yeah,
stuff.
and saying like, how are you guys going to make videos now that your
Yeah.
USAID funding's gone?
we
That type
were
of
we
thing.
were a target of this campaign.
Yeah, we were part of this.
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a good read again down in the
Yes,
description.
for sure.
I remember you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember.
I have such an irrational
Dude.
hatred for these guys.
I'm with you on that. There is a girl who stands there looking over your shoulder. She does nothing else. Dude's underwear that's hanging up to dry in his truck. They're destroyed.
This is called the Hornets of Death.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's the dessert. It's like,
They think that you lose all your heat through your head, so it's most important to cover your head. It's not true at all.
maybe if you go mess with the nest, then the bird doesn't want to return to the nest.
That's actually not true, though. The Chinese ain't do Tiananmen Square. I did.
Okay.
That's when
This is pretty funny.
That's
Yeah.
when I knew I had to understand
Right,
this
right.
man.
When I close my eyes, I can almost see it.